Okay, so I want to do something special here for someone that has recently passed away. And if you are a longtime Bucks fan, anyway, in the Tampa Bay area, you know this person. His name is Mark Cook, and he passed within the last 2 weeks. And he had a heart condition, from what I understand. And I want to talk about Mark Cook because this is just going to be my little tribute to him. He was a friend of mine and just one of those great humans that you loved being around all the time. He worked for the Pewter Report, so he was a reporter for them, a journalist. I would often see him covering sporting events, and every time I saw him, he was this kind of person. He made me feel comfortable. He gave me exactly what I needed. Whatever I needed to talk about, for some reason, Mark could read your mind and talk about that thing that was on your mind. And you always felt better after having had an interaction with them. So how many people can you say that about? How many people do you interact with and then you walk away and say, hey, they gave me something. I'm not trying to be greedy, but that's, it should be mutual. You're both giving each other something. But I mean, every time I walked away from a conversation with Mark Cook, I felt better about myself. I felt better about the world, whatever it was. And it was because of him.
I did not know him.
Okay.
Because I really don't follow sports that much. But the only thing I ever heard are great things about him.
Oh my gosh.
And just exactly what you said is how he made you feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I remember, on a personal level, so we'd see him, we'd joke around, and how he didn't take himself seriously at all, which is always fun to be around people like that. And he would, he's great at his job, a phenomenal writer, but really he and I had this great conversation. Doug was there too. And Doug and I were trying to get pregnant at the time, going through some tough times. And he was there at this wedding we were all at with his son. And he really gave me a lot of hope. He just offered nothing but hope and understanding. And throughout my journey becoming a mom, he's always been there, sending me a message, encouragement, all kinds of stuff. But when we spoke that time at that wedding, I thought to myself, that's the kind of parent I want to be, watching him around his son. His son's name is also Douglas. And I thought, wow, this is an inspirational moment, because that's the kind of parent I want to be. And I looked back, me and text messaging, Pat, it's kind of a necessary evil, but it is a way, when this happens. I always thought, Mark, you think your friend's going to be around forever. You can call him and catch up whenever you need to. Send a text. And so I looked back at my last interaction with him in my text messages. I couldn't remember when it was. And it was him asking if I could send a video wishing a friend of his, it was a friend of his, happened to have special needs, wishing his friend a happy birthday. And also his friend loved Mason Dixon. Could Mason send him a video? So Mason. Mason was ready. He was right there. So we sent the videos, and Mark responded back. And that's what my last, text thread with him was all about. And I just, it's unbelievable. You say, why does this happen? 50 years old. The guy was 50 years old.
How long had you been writing for the Pewter Report?
I can't give you an accurate description. Less than that. Okay. I think less than 20 years.
How old was his son? Or is his son?
Is, I want to say his son's about 17 years old. He's 17 or 18, somewhere in that range. But just great, such a great person, a great human. And, I have respect for people, whatever your religion is. This is kind of crazy, but Mark wrote something on his Facebook page in reference to something else about, I know where I'm going if I don't make it, and it was, this was weeks before he passed, but he was a big believer in Jesus. And I have a book that I like to read to my daughter. I try to read it to her nightly. Doesn't always work out that way, but it's a book called A Heart Like Jesus. And I read it to her, and, we just kind of read little bits of it to her at night. And we focus on the purity, having a pure heart, having a peaceful heart. And when I think about Mark Cook, that's really, I was reading the book to my daughter. I was like, oh my gosh, this is who he was. He was living those things because believe me, I deviate. My heart's not always what it should be. But I just thought, wow, this is what he lived. Because, we're all having a bad day here or there, and you walk away from someone and you go, oh, I didn't give them my best self because I'm thinking about 10 other things, but then you regret what you said or didn't say. And with Mark Cook, every single time he and I spoke, every single time, I just was filled with happiness.
And, I'm sure he enjoyed his job, but in that job, it came with a lot of criticism. Some of the things you write.
Oh, you're so right. You're so right. You have to put yourself out there. Being a writer, being a journalist, being out in the public, putting yourself out there. I mean, it can, and he did it with such grace and humor at times. They did a really wonderful tribute for him too at Raymond James Stadium. The Buccaneers did. That's what an impact he made on folks there. But I just wanted
Well, you did a big impact today in a beautiful show.
Oh, thank you, Pat. Thank you, Pat.
What's your last
appreciate
words on him then?
My last words, I just gone too soon, but we know where you are, and rest in peace. Cookie, we love you.